Hey, what's going on, Grilla fam? So, wanted to say happy Valentine's Day to you. We got a big video for you today. We're not just going to be talking about one thing you can make. We're actually going to show you the entire way to get your Valentine's dinner set off going great. Now, all you're going to need for this is a couple steaks, a little bit of ginger, some mushrooms, and we'll get into the rest of the ingredients in a little bit here. But those are the main things you're going to need here. This is going to be a super simple meal. Takes you less than 45 minutes from beginning to end. So why don't we dive on into this? I've got a couple big old ribeyes sitting over on the counter waiting for me to season them up. But we want to start with the thing that's going to take us the longest right now, our little shroomies. Now, I got some button mushrooms. Took these guys, and we are going to do something that's a little bit more savory, a little bit more smoky. This is going to really complement the steak that we have going on later really, really well. So we're actually working with small quantities today. This is just for 2 people. So a lot of these seasonings are going to be pretty small too. So first things first here, we have got our button mushrooms. Now, I actually have taken the stems out of all these. That's just a personal preference thing. If you like the stems, go for it. I prefer caps, no stems for me. And let's throw a little bit of butter. We have about a tablespoon of butter we're gonna toss right on in with these. All right, so we've got our what the cluck here, and actually I added a little bit of something extra to this, about a dash or 2 of cayenne pepper, a little bit extra black pepper, and a little bit extra salt. Now, like I said, super small quantities. This is probably all in all less than 2 tablespoons worth of spices that we're putting in here. We're gonna layer that right on top of our butter, and then give it just a small splash of red wine. Just a little. Boop. Now let's stir that up, get that butter and red wine and those seasonings all mixed together well. As you can see, it sticks to them right away because we're using such a small amount of butter. There's not really anything left over at the bottom. You're not getting any clumps of seasoning at the bottom or anything like that. Super simple. These are already coated. Now that we got them coated, we're actually going to take them and throw them on a baking pan. And then once we got them on our baking pan, we're going to throw them in our Grilla Grill's chimp at about 420 degrees. And we're gonna let that ride until, let's say a half hour, 45 minutes, right in there somewhere. The one thing about mushrooms to keep in mind, it's just like every cut of meat. Everybody has their own version of how it should be served, how it should taste in your mouth, and how it should feel in your mouth as far as doneness. So when it comes to these guys, I prefer them a little bit more done. Other people say they want them less, so right around 30 to 45 minutes, you're gonna find a sweet spot in there that works for you. Let's get them on a baking pan, get them in our chimp, and let's get on going to seasoning these steaks. All right, guys, so we just finished getting our mushrooms in our chimp, and now we got a little bit of time before we throw our steaks on, because our steaks are only gonna take us a good 10 minutes altogether to cook. I know that sounds like a crazy fantasy, but I promise you, 10 minutes is all you're gonna need. We've got our Grilla heating up right now to about 500, and we do have some grill grates on there. So once those grill grates get up to around 650, that's when we're gonna start cooking our steak. It's coming up to temp right now though, so while we got a little bit of time, I'm gonna show you how to make a nice cocktail for your dinner tonight as well. So this is something I like to call an old Grilla. It's like a mix between an old-fashioned and a Manhattan with a nice little brown sugar kick in there as well. So we've got our bourbon here. You gotta start with a good bourbon. Go out, spend a little bit more than you usually would on this bottle. It's for Valentine's Day. It's okay, I promise. You're gonna really enjoy the end result if you do that. So we got some good bourbon here. I believe we got Woodford Reserve is what I'm using today. I've got 1.5 ounces of that bourbon. That's a little bit over a shot. Some people go for the double shot, go for 2. I prefer just going 1.5 to keep the flavor simple and combined well. So we're gonna throw this 1.5 ounces of bourbon right on in there. Now, we're gonna take a little bit of brown sugar, dump that on in. Awesome, and a dash or 2 of bitters. Now, some people use the cherry bitters, Angostura, cinnamon, orange. You can use whatever bitters you prefer. I got some orange bitters right here. This is what I prefer going in my old Grilla. You do not need to use much of this, just a couple dashes real quick, and that is all you need. This stuff is super powerful, and it will overpower your drink if you put too much in. So, like I said, 2 quick dashes of those bitters, and then you stir. Some people like to throw ice in their Old Fashioned, in their old Grilla. I am not with that. I prefer mine neat, straight up, however you like to call that. You get that nice brown sugar mixed in there good. Give it a nice stir. Alrighty. And then a little dash of cherry. Take the stem out because nobody likes to eat one of those. Jump it on in there. And we've got our orange. Now, if you want to know how to make a nice orange garnish, I got a real quick, simple tip for you. You take an orange, full orange, peel on and everything, and take a carrot peeler, potato peeler, whatever you call it, right down it. That gives you this strip here. Now, what you're going to want to do, you want to twist that over your drink, and it gives you a couple drips of that orange juice. Slide it around the rim for extra flavor, and then you just twist and push right on top of your drink. It's looking pretty good to me, if you ask it. And you know what? I've got a little extra, so I'm going to try this one, make sure that it's up to par, and then I'll make a couple more later for when we get dinner going. Right on. All right, everybody, so it's the thing that everybody's been waiting for. We're getting to the steak. Now, like I said, this is going to take 10 minutes as soon as we throw it on the grill. So this next few minutes of this video are going to be the most important parts because you got to make sure you're doing everything correctly. So we're going to start off here. We've got a little bit of salt, pepper, and our beef rub, Grilla Grills beef rub. Now, I went with about a 1/2 inch, a little bit thicker than that, ribeye steaks. These things are gonna be fantastic. Some people like to trim them up, do whatever they can. Honestly, a little fat's not gonna hurt you, so I'm just gonna leave it. If you don't wanna eat it when it comes time to do it, you just cut it off yourself. Now, we're gonna season these one at a time just to make sure we get it perfect. And then as soon as we're done seasoning, we let them sit for about 3 to 4 or 5 minutes and throw them right on the grill. Like I said before, that grill is up at 500, and we've got our grill grates on there that are gonna get that temperature even higher, up around that 650 range. So that is exactly where you wanna be cooking this steak. So, I'm gonna crack a little bit of pepper on here, crack a little bit of salt, and hit it with the beef rub. We're going light with this one just because there is going to be a little flavor blast that we put on towards the end of this. Now, if you don't know what flavor blast I'm talking about, I'll tell you. So, when we get this done, we are going to put together a nice little mixture. It's like a ginger garlic mixture. And we're going to put that right on our steak as it's coming off. All right, a little salt on that side, a little pepper on this side, and we've got our beef rub. Like I said, we're going light on this one just because we want to be safe. There we go. Don't forget to get those sides as well. I'm kind of mopping them up with the extras that fell off while I was going. Roll it in there. There we go. Perfect. Now, this one's ready to go on the grill. We're going to set it aside for a second while we get the other one ready. I'm going to make sure that that grill is up to temperature, and then we're going to be all good to go to get these on there. Like I said, 2 minutes per side, a total of 10 minutes at most to get these steaks grilled. All right, everybody, so we got our Grilla up to temp. We are ready to throw our steaks on here. For the sake of the video, we're gonna cook one at a time just to make sure we're able to get good shots of everything, make sure you guys can see exactly what we're doing. So I'm gonna take this first ribeye and plop it right on down in the center of our grill grates. We're gonna come back in 120 seconds. That's 2 minutes. Turn it, and then 2 more minutes. Everybody, so we just pulled our steaks off the grill. Told you 10 minutes of cooking, that is all we needed to do. Now we have our ginger butter garlic spread that is all ready to go over the top of these. We're just gonna be nice and liberal with it and just spoon it all over the top. You're gonna wanna give that a nice little spread up there. do not be afraid to go overboard with this stuff. It is just going to make it taste that much better. This is that flavor explosion that I was telling you about a little bit earlier. Gives it a nice ginger finish. That butter just makes everything taste better. And, I mean, how can you go wrong with garlic on a steak, right? All right. Oh, nice. We got that all mixed in there. And, you know, I think I might have to cut into one of these before my date even gets here. So, give me one here. Haven't taken a peek yet, but... Oh, no pressure whatsoever pushing through there. And that is a perfectly cooked steak. Oh, my God. That is fantastic. All kinds of perfect, nice red color in there. That is a good medium rare steak. You're going to want to cook to an internal temperature of 130 if you guys are doing this on your grill. As long as you hit that internal of 130, you're going to have some perfect steaks. Now, I've got to clean up in here. My date's going to be here any minute. I'm going to get stuff, you know, ready and plated, and then we'll come back in a little bit just to do a little send-off for you guys. Hey, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today. This was our Valentine's Day special. Cooked a couple steaks, got some good shroomies going, and a couple fantastic drinks. So hopefully you guys are going to be able to enjoy this one with your loved ones, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, or any day of the week. You can make any day special. But, you know, that's about it. I think my date is going to be here in any minute. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. And I really appreciate everybody. Oh, she's here, actually. Hey, what's up? Oh, baby, I thought I asked you to shave. No. Come back, I'm sorry.
Got a grill? Time to get a smoker. A Grilla grill smoker, that is. Grilla Grill's pellet smokers will take your grilling game to the next level. Brisket, pulled pork, ribs, you name it. You can smoke like a pro. Order yours today at GrillaGrills.com.